Welcome to Ceana TV. You are watching from Ceana Central, hosted by Ofo Steve and Empress Mawushi. Ceana, helping build Everland.
Yo, Markumado ago na mashamalo miaga de kukubagba michimagbe me ran into some little technical difficulties ado nyamanyana dohi akoyaka damola la Ghana ye nabo over miaba one over magbevio gaka maraku mikikoka Camilo Maraku abaleke minyana nyenkonye efo Steve egba mi dongbana mi ba amatohiada mia domanogede nemia ajro immigration pa nyawoma eta ka mia deson nyanto abaleke minyana mama aseduji ehoji eta ka madeson ma yide Chicago de na mavekbe mama aseduji na mia ayide ewona oji. Welcome to Ceana Central.
Nyasela plano pola modowe zona miakata enye Empress Maushea enye ganye mama seduji enye ganye tubazuku ifia amaba trozu Mrs. 2G original nyasela plano pola loko yana technical glitches lebagba me ne myenya marakuku mingira comment am egba mi jogomoko yuko ajeto bagba shuama chivago kaka mi webu kaka vanyo fiata miela fona mi ba miechi magba ifi life yare miana mi monu popo ya na mi ako na mi ama wona na mi asro mi agila mi apa hiavio mi ami osro pla hiavio hala mi asha mi mena mashama de na mi aga trovai. Don't touch that dial. Mama Saduji here. Bye.
Welcome to Ceana TV. You are watching from Ceana Central, hosted by Ofo Steve and Empress Mawushi. Ceana, helping build Everland.
Mama Sadiji, Egbaya, Ami, commercial, Rekafuga, Ado, Aleka mi magbachi meta, Ajabamia, Desoida, New York, the Miava, Pemiava, Amapashidaka. Hello?
Ale oyima, miato mi ekpo mi elabamia ko wana ko ejikaba because I'm a shama, you know time is money. That mi labamia waste, mi ako time ako iju. Ka afi mi ako important, nchu ako vaji majaba mi anyabade. Questions here the shared you want to ask her. Madakuku, mingwera comment very soon we are going to be having the call in medium miatia yomi akonuna host you guest you program aji kakavi feel life yade migblem ya for comment so kata de afima ko miahli miato menyabare miapa ejinu miapa new president ya bona mvagafia miato menyaba amasasio nya miamadoa kuheado kuramiangu la drama fun enyawo la miangu enyawo le olaba miabia magakade akbobe Ceana cares about you all so much buddy mi wevu kaka lawyer AKPALU shikanya mianto miafa ma chomiapa dumonya miadomato reka anya lawyer agba abai mafiara ka yigo yegbona miangu nogade nya de shade mi ba yo biede na miabie fifi life ya de mia yi New York na miako lawyer AKPALU akova program aji afi ma na ipo bayo via de ofo lawyer AKPALU marakuku wezon cover Ceana Central ji.
Yo.
Hello my obo lawyer ofo AKPALU.
Oh, whichever. Oh wait, yes.
Anyasala plan no pola ye ba pon mile. Marakuku afi ma play pa bayo lawyer AKPALU marakuku nami rona me nanya very briefly afi ma hla obayo na mo nase. Apoka me na chu.
Nkwanyenya lawyer John Kobla AKPALU. So Alakbla, Alaska City.
Yo, we so cover Ceana Central je yemi dak bono kaka. Okay, brief bio about lawyer AKPALU. Over brief gakamakpo. Okay, add the okay, quarter page adakwi. Lawyer John AKPALU attended Keta Secondary School and Laboni Secondary School in Accra. He attended the University of Ghana, Legon, where he read law. He was called to Ghana Bar in 1987 and was a teaching assistant at the Legon Faculty of Law and at the same time a law teacher at GIMPA and then Institute of Professional Studies, IPS. Oh, okay. From there, he went to pursue his LLM, Masters of Law degree in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Yeah.
He then obtained a second LLM from Harvard Law School and a third LLM in taxation from the University of Denver Graduate Tax Program in Colorado. He also has a master's in information and library science from the Pratt Institute in New York. Lawyer AKPALU was called to the New York Bar in 1994 and has since been in private practice. He worked for some law firms, but since 2006, he has had his own practice. He is into general practice, but with concentration in workers' compensation, social security disability, and immigration. He also has practice in the areas of wills and estates, real estate, forfeiture proceedings, and personal injury. In his practice as a lawyer, he has helped many Ghanaians with their legal problems and continues to do so. Mr. AKPALU, Lawyer AKPALU, is admitted to the New York courts, the U.S. Tax Court, and the United States District Courts for the Southern and Eastern Districts of New York and the United States Courts of Appeal for the Armed Forces. Lawyer AKPALU is passionate about public service and is a member of various associations, the United Volta Association of New York, the Kitasco Alumni Association of North America, and the Alakpa Diaspora Association. Lawyer AKPALU, Wezokova, Ceana Central G.
Yeah.
Masalute, sir.
Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
Magagble haba Lawyer AKPALU amanya edomagwa klo school gbogbo mako yolo. Ajana gbagba volunteer na adokwi na Ceana duko. Ishai na Ceana me conventional de woga miapa illegal issues mawa ye me no privately me no company wo no matona me pletoma. So he is a distinguished citizens of the Ever community here in
We still have good people amongst us. Among you, Galilo, like here, AKPALU, Lawyer AKPALU.
Thank you.
Yo. Lawyer Marco, come here, Jilo, ye mama said to G blog man, Coco Jagoma, but mia foga akadu Jin Choya, you vaga, missy, but and of one domna miamagado during yepa campaign seasons. Mogaka nemi pokpoma ameko o chachamba no avazu yepa cabinet and miakpoba nyatepe and yakbogbo moko bla dohi LG vaga etare marco atwa deji fo viana miba mokpokpado li na enyamako blaba obanyakata nyagamia yafa pletomode marco yepa threats maode
Okay, my phone viara na mi so ga kama kpoba amagada interest in immigration. Gaka after year immigration gia, I want to start with certain areas is of interest to our community. After me about immigration g na maponu vona question sola moshi arubia bera moshi over abia. And the first area, most of us, having a will. And the question is, why do you need a will? Nuke anaba na hiana will. I don't know will. Nwezonyeba na bachimagba I don't know kwa. At that time, I have control over ale or no magio. And yaro yaba sunazira review. Blopomato doma. Dana jiba ya avoid a hamako in a world walker. Kano ha wila mashamanya hai hogo lako ka azramato te alaba wo property we decide ba no meala yaro yo ha maroli ike monya view aro monya strong gaka onye barang toro rohi onis aro nephew aro ina zado mara akpojo house help ara akpojo alabano dajibe agbana na rine number wo wilo mamo manala kakpogo. That is the second reason to make a will. Yaro liamasa baoba amagara kuna gana itopa gachi na bank because rohi so gazramro majiba esrona nyao aronyolo gazramro majiba unsona nyao fifi na ba kuvo agamawachi bank toshi tana wo wila mahaba na ko wila fia the other person na wo wila ko at least the property ukata in the world. That usually I let them list all their properties. So the will contains everything you have so that anybody can trace those properties, them value. The other problems are about funeral arrangements. Attend funeral arrangements in your will. And as on Abba, Madam Abane, Kono Koyape. Ava strong like Plavio, if you have no deal, if you make koga yakwe aro leki oge that I make arrangements more in your will so that when you pass away then never no real afiako ko komoto la ponya ba won to jijema komo gatroga plus from arovio. So that is also one reason. Usually I name your will funeral arrangements la ma me wanna paper bubu outside the world because I feel about you the court but I take that time. Then funeral arrangements are on separate paper call. Never no call it up, Lina mobile, no call it up. And then they'll take care of that. That is one big reason. And Makwaba, a lot of the Ghanaian community here, no matter Hanazrebe. As Romano did a fear for Matomono Quivape because Abane Kono Koyabape. Koavazuzra. Tana on ton make arrangements more in your work. Careful. Now, Ghana na kwa na will assure war I go according to the will. Fear hana nama gaka na yaba na ku Ghana ye will mal assure a sally ike control na mahi aho property. Mianaba PNDC law 111. Dana kuna will mal assure that law controls. Fear hana ku na will mal assure here there are provisions as to who benefits. Tanaba jiba a summoner apply to you or then you make a will and then you decide who gets your property. You and your Katamia Ghana at all. I want to go into PNDC law 111. As on about at Nayaba Mokuko, especially Brutal, Iko Unswapa nieces and nephews over about 2 for Ranyola review no ba your panka property. Ko nyɔnu ya kple ɖeviwo kpe fu kple ŋutsuɔ woakɔ property sɔ ke womeva kpɔ naneke o. Ta hema tae rolling survey ma ya yo pass a lawyer. Law hã nio kpe ɖe ŋu nye be registration. Ya ɖe yɔta gblɔ be nyɔnu ɔkpli ɖekumiali meɖe ne ɖi o. Aɖewo gblɔ nyɔnu be yo nɔvia ɖeko wokpli wo li edziviwo mo ɖe wo nɔewo. Ta in addition to PNDC law 111 ma wova wo customary marriage and divorce registration. That then the city council have a registrar so Rafimaba yes right. The barak banana zo ka humatonya ba a register ma ba yes right. Na ba a strong matola show at a register matokaza because under customary law in Ghana you can marry more than one. Then register oko na ba okuma gbava afiwa no that is proof by you register them as your wives. That simply nayaba majiba a saike or Ghana na control of a property you have to have a will. will hana oga amobia na ba na yaba property la show Ghana property la show afia leki na oge. In those situations at time we will of one will to cover your properties here and one will to cover your properties in Ghana. So that is about wills. Mate aiji agbonya garagaka matora fima. Na me the next topic.
Okay, about wills amabialo na madabe na mokwa mi komko ya for the temblona na tembiana mabede jagba na glangadi na kwa na mi akoko yira no koko yira pa because you get the na nglonya ono nglonya mara wilama omoglana gara kadrio komia me omi ba na magba ba no fukpa ma ba no gajima alaba na gble no ba okay na ba no ko ya pa ko mara kuku ngre ma ha ba afie de garo ya no ko amako ya pe atemblona no na na ma
Usually the me will me blonira maba the first thing that should be paid out of property and your the last expenses of your sickness. That's the door. You put you bill the next one is your burial expenses. I feel that I got change after that. I feel
one May.
Yeah.
Okay, as a healthcare worker, one question maybe an patients when you do you have an advanced directive in case ba doya na je magavate no fomu nyo najiba ajiba mia recitate to alo ajiba mia ga wona na kana o na ona na jo mia ethnic to wa ba mia African so jigada na bia onyama we ngonglo kle advanced directives ma gonna ba oh God forbid I'm not going to die in the name of Jesus. How do you go past that spiritual do you understand what I'm trying to ask you? Because also advanced direct. Oh God forbid, I'm not going to die now. And I'm like, seriously?
Yes, that is a real problem. Advanced directive is for anything can happen. You can be in a coma and you cannot give consent or withdraw consent. And in that situation, you need somebody, either your wife or somebody you trust to make decisions for you.
Right.
So I know it's a problem. Most of our people think making a will means that you are about to die, but that is not the situation. U.S. servicemen, for example, before they send them abroad, even those who are 18, 19, they all are asked to have their wills because anything can happen. The having a will is very common, especially among white people, because they want to provide for their siblings, their children, their wives when they are gone. So there's nothing morbid about it. We all don't know when we are going to die, but it could happen at any time, and you don't want if you have to be fighting over your property. I'll just encourage our people, but well, even if they are praying not to die sooner, the will is not going to be the thing that kills them. It will rather give them peace of mind knowing that they've provided for those that they need to provide for.
Yes. Nyasela klo nu pola modo we sonami cover Ceana Central ji malafia klo lawyer AKPALU shikanya lawyer gan cho New York I wanna other practice na other law so abe we ngong law klo immigration law klo ngu tamara kuko na nya bia de le miashia mia type the comment section na miako wana akoyiji lawyer AKPALU madakuku miako anya ako yida miako main problem shikanya immigration nyaoji oba ofo Steve bia anyada afi naba ya toshi will nyaji fifi atoshi daji makboba comment section na marakama bia nyaraka cho we lagbo hadaku which is expected because so kata obuba yumo kugafi outa umo we onyada ka bia madako gakana meji mada decide by ya bia we onyada madakuku miako dara comment section na miako wona ko yiji fifi amiako anyako yiji for Steve anya na bia madakuku atiaga ato shinyamaji na lawyer AKPALU adongu na mia akpa
Yo, Akpa Domboma Weber, it is Lawyer AKPALU and Mama said the show afi Nanya ma adidema ma didema enja mi va ida Birmingham adashimu nyanya ka kwebe odoma keke mi va you all the way to Birmingham UK our live show jafma Mia Noviado ni Novinho Habobo of Birmingham o inaugurate o mi ve pedo mo ye mi stream it agbado madashi ngono nyama relax maji glass ade man no pokora ba to ako echijoji ade ma no problem la fi afi gaga abale ke glina yo la kwaluma ku ma bia ba any manyaba wana immigration issues ba nyao gede. Yesterday, with the advent of Miaba new president taking office early next year, Nyakawe, what are some of the steps we need to take to protect ourselves? Because yeah, Manyaba, you have your ears on the ground. Yeah, you may be hearing a lot. And Nyakawe, what are some of the steps that we need to take? Agbladova year. Gakari na gatwan tegbede ji mi akpoda oba amada have a question ada akpoda please have how much does average will preparation cost? Okay, yenya bia de ka deva eta laya marku na natwa akọ numo ye if you can take me anovi but you have a question.
Well, will can be either basic or complex depending on how you want to prepare it. And if you see a lawyer to prepare a will, you could pay anywhere from $1,000 through about $5,000. You know, I know some white law firms that charge $10,000, $20,000 for a will. It all depends on how complex the will is. So from there, I'll move on to immigration, and I know that is what most people are interested in. Okay, Agba, what I intend to do, Nyama discussion have got about how to obtain your green card, who can file for who, what happens when we file, all that I'm going to leave aside. What I am going to present now is what do we expect under President Trump as far as immigration is concerned. The first thing we expect, he's going to close the border to prevent people from coming in through Mexico. So that is going to affect people who are on their way coming in or who are in Mexico trying to come into the US. So that is going to be one thing that he's going to do. It's not going to be easy for people to come in. I know there are some Ghanaians who travel to Mexico and come in that way. It's not only people from Latin America. Some Ghanaians also have done that. So they have to know, but from now on, once Trump comes out, it's going to be very difficult to come through the Mexican border. The second thing we expect is what is called expedited removal at the airport. Anytime you have a visa and you come to the US airport or any US airport, you are presenting yourself for admission, which means you may not be let in automatically. You have to convince the immigration officer at the airport, but he or she should let you in. And let me give you an example. After September 11, 2001, EKO attacked a World Trade Center, there were a lot of people from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Muslim countries who were here legally. They had H-1B. And then they just traveled to their countries, legally traveled, and were returning to the US. A lot of them were just returned back, or let's say returned to their countries from the airport. Even though they hadn't done anything wrong, some of them had advanced parole to travel. They came within the time. Just the anger over the World Trade Center incident and the fact that they didn't know who did it, and why they were able to get that access to aircrafts and attack the World Trade Center. They just decided to take it out on people who had valid papers and deported them. Now, expedited removal applies whether you have a visa or not. And let me give you another example. Anytime you come to the US with a visa, immigration determines how long you should be here. So let's say you come with a visitor's visa, B1, B2 visa, you come to the airport, they ask you, what are you coming to do? Oh, I'm coming to see my sister, I'm coming to see my niece, I'm coming for my nephew's graduation, and then they give you 6 months to stay. You stay for 5 months and 2 weeks. You go back to Ghana, you stay in Ghana for 3 weeks, you buy your ticket, and you come back to the US. Now, at the airport, the officer who is looking at you and your passport is asking you how long you stayed the last time. You said 5 months and 2 weeks. The question then in the officer's mind is, what were you coming to do in the US that you could not finish doing in 5 months and 2 weeks? And you left and you are coming back again just after 4 weeks. So the officer knows you are working, which you are not allowed to do. And then what they'll do is they'll start searching through your luggage, they'll start searching through your phone to see if they'll see a pay stub or something that shows that you are working. And if they're able to find anything there which shows you are working, they can keep you at the airport and then send you back on the next flight to Ghana. If you come with a multiple visa and you are allowed into the country, you can also be subject to expedited removal. That is, a multiple visa means that for any number of times that you want to come into the US, you don't need a new visa. Let's say they give you a 5-year multiple or a 10-year multiple. It means that within 5 years or within 10 years, you can come into the US any number of times without going to apply for a new visa. But if you come on a visa, even if it's a multiple visa, immigration at the airport will tell you how long you should stay each time. So a 5-year multiple or a 10-year multiple doesn't mean you can come and stay here for 5 years or you can come and stay here for 10 years. It just says within 5 years or 10 years, you can come any number of times. So if you have a 5-year multiple and you come and they give you 6 months, and let's say you stay for 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, and you go back, because you overstayed your multiple visa, that visa automatically becomes void. You would have to go back to the US Embassy and apply for a new visa and explain to the embassy why you overstayed your visa the last time. So if you have a multiple visa and you are traveling to the US, you have to make sure that you live within a reasonable time and not overstay. Okay, so the second thing we are expecting from Trump is expedited removal at the airport. Expedited means that they don't have to bring you in and take you to court and take you to detention and do anything. From the airport back onto the plane, then you go to your home country. Okay. The third thing is that US immigration has been a bit lax. So, for example, you go to immigration courts. Let's say you apply for asylum, your asylum is denied, the judge orders you deported. You decide that you are not going to live, you are going to just stay here. And I've known people who have been here for 20, 30 years who were ordered deported. If in this climate, in this present climate, somehow they get hold of you, you are not going to go back to court for deportation because the court has already decided that you should leave. So wherever they get you, from there they take you to immigration detention, and then from there they get a passport or let's say pass for you, and then from there to the airport. So those who have deportation orders and who didn't leave should be careful, because once they get hold of you, you are not coming back home. From there you are going to detention. From detention you are going back to your country. Okay. Now, there is also a requirement that every US employer, before you employ somebody, you have to check that they are either a citizen or they have a green card or they have a work permit. If they have a work permit, the work permit expires usually after 1 year, and you are supposed to be on top of them if their work permit expires for them to produce a new work permit. And immigration has this situation where they go to jobs, they rate jobs to inspect their Form I-9s to see if those working there have valid work permits. So a lot of employers, sorry, a lot of employers are going to be nervous if people are not, sorry, if people are not legally entitled to work, or if people's work permits have expired, but they've given them consideration and allowed them to continue working. They are going to be nervous. They're going to be asking for your new work permit, and if not, they may let you go. So people who came here and applied for asylum or apply for some other relief and they give them work permits which they have been renewing, have to make sure that their work permit is current. As of now, I know of a few people who have been let go because their work permit expired 5-10 years ago and they were still working. And the employers, knowing that this climate is not that bad, just allow them to continue working. Trump White House may not be like that. So if your work permit is expired, make sure you have a current one. Sorry, I'm nursing a cold, so forgive my cough. So where you are working, make sure you have your current work permit and be careful about workplace rates. Usually they'll come into a big factory or a big warehouse or a big workplace and start checking everybody's papers, and those that are not here legally may be sent into detention and deported. Now, how do we protect ourselves? Before I go into that, there is one more thing. Usually when you file an application or a petition with immigration, you go for an interview. What happens is that if it's a marriage petition, they will either approve it or they may ask you to come back for a second interview, which we call a Stokes interview. The Stokes interview is where they separate you and your wife, and then they ask you questions and then bring the other person and ask them the same questions and see if there's any discrepancy. After the Stokes interview, if they still believe that the marriage is not a valid marriage or you haven't proven that the marriage is genuine, they just put your file aside somewhere and tell you to go home. They've denied you. In this present Trump climate, what we are afraid of is that not only would they deny you, they can send you to immigration courts. They can issue what is called an order to show cause why you should not leave the country. So once they serve you with an order to show cause and you go to immigration court, then what you can do is limited. You can renew your marriage petition before the immigration judge. So you have to convince the immigration judge again that your marriage was genuine. And what the immigration judge will do will be to send you back to USCIS to re-interview. And there they may demand more documentation from you and more proof from you. Or the immigration judge may say that you have not proven that you are entitled to a green card and either order you deported or give you the option to take what is called voluntary departure. Voluntary departure means I want to buy my own tickets and I want to leave the country. And the effect is that you are not ordered deported. So if there is some other chance for you to come back, you can come back. If they deport you, you have to stay away from the US for 20 years before you can apply to return. So you don't want to be deported. You want to take voluntary departure. But if you take voluntary departure and the judge says, okay, I'm giving you till February 2025 to leave the country, and you decide to stay, that voluntary departure becomes a deportation order. So any voluntary departure taken where the person does not leave the country and stays on turns automatically into an order of deportation. Okay, so now, how do you protect yourself, or what should we do? the first thing I will advise people to do is to make sure that in this climate, if you are filing anything, you should hire a lawyer. I'm not saying that to drum up business for lawyers, but I've seen cases where people have made very minor mistakes. And because of that, their cases were denied. And not only were those cases denied, those that they filed for had to wait another 3, 4, 5 years before they could get their papers. A lawyer has a professional obligation. If you come to me and I'm your lawyer, I have a professional obligation to make sure that I know the law, that I know what to present for you to be successful. If you go and have a friend help you with your papers, or you have some people who are contractors help you, anytime there's a problem, they'll tell you, well, go find a lawyer. And by then they'll have included some information or done certain things which has already spoiled your case. And in that situation, it's very difficult to get a lawyer to reverse the situation. Yes, you will pay the lawyer, but you are paying him for his professional services, and the lawyer also has to make sure that he renders professional services. And just to give you an example, immigration now has so much work that if you file for your husband or wife, they are sending out what is called RFE, request for further evidence. That, okay, you said you were married 6 months. Give us documentation to show that you were a couple from the time you married until now. So if you have a bank account, if you have credit cards, insurance papers, whatever it is, you have affidavits from people who know you, certifying that they know you as a couple. If you send in enough documentation, if you have a lawyer who sends enough documentation, you might be lucky to get your green card approved without you going for an interview. I've had some cases approved without them going for an interview. It's also possible that you might send all that and they might still send you for an interview, but at least it means you have the documentation you will need, even if they send you to an interview. And if you do it by yourself and you receive that RFU letter, you may not know what to send. But if you have a lawyer, the lawyer will put together a good package for you to send, and that may result in you getting your green card without having to go for an interview. Okay. So that is one thing. Hire a lawyer if you're filing your immigration petitions or filing anything because you don't know what may be a problem which you may not see. The third one I'll tell people, right now is the time to file for citizenship because citizens are protected from deportation. You can only be deported as a citizen by first a revocation of your citizenship. And to revoke your citizenship, Immigration Service will have to file a lawsuit in the district court, U.S. District Court, to revoke your citizenship, and it takes time. So you are very, very, very well protected if you file for citizenship. But I also tell people, you have to know how you obtain your green card before you file for citizenship. And I'm going to say it again. You have to know how you obtain your green card before you file for citizenship. Whenever you file for citizenship, it is an opportunity for Immigration Service to go through your file again to determine if your green card was validly obtained. If they find out that your green card was not validly obtained, not only will they deny you citizenship, they can also take your green card from you by putting you in deportation. And I'll give you an example. Someone I filed for long ago filed for the daughter in Ghana. Now, if you have a green card, you cannot file for your child who is married. So any green card holder who files for a child in Ghana, you have to let them know that your child can never marry until they come to the US and get their green card. Because that category is for unmarried sons and daughters of permanent residents. You cannot file for a married son or daughter. So you file for the person comes with an immigrant visa, gets their green card. And then they decide to file for their husband or wife in Ghana. And guess what they do? They put the date of marriage which is the date before they went for the visa interview, or which is the date after they got their visa, but before they got their green card. Now, if you were to go to the US Embassy and tell them that you are married, what will happen? They'll tell you you can no longer get a visa because this category is for unmarried children. So once you are married, you are no longer eligible. So in the eyes of the immigration officer here, let's say you go for a citizenship interview and the officer discovers this. In the mind of the officer, you hid your marriage from the US consulate. That is why you got the visa, because the consulate would not have given you the visa if you had told them you're married. And the fact that you married before getting your green card, even if you married after your visa interview, you are still not eligible for the green card because you are now a married child of a permanent resident, and married children of permanent residents are not eligible for green cards. So in those situations, they will deny you the citizenship and they will also put you in deportation. Another example, a lot of the people who got their green cards through the lottery, DV lottery, used different names for the lottery. And when one name won, then they went with that name. Before that, they may have applied for the old amnesty or LULAC, or they may have applied for asylum or apply for Liberian refugee status, all in different names. And when you apply for citizenship, they do a thorough check. So some name or something that you had applied for and forgotten about it, your fingerprint could go and bring out that information. And once immigration has that, it means that your green card was not properly obtained because you had used a different name before and applied for something else before. So that can also result in not only them denying citizenship, but also in revoking your green card and putting you in deportation. The same thing, if you married and got your green card through marriage, and you know that there is some suspicion about your marriage, you also have to be very careful when you apply for citizenship. If you marry a US citizen and you have your green card, you are allowed to apply for citizenship 3 years after marriage to the US citizen. Normally, it's 5 years as a permanent resident, but you are allowed to apply in 3 years. Now, what is the difference? If you apply to become a citizen after marrying a US citizen for 3 years or getting your green card for 3 years, that is a chance for immigration service to go through your marriage again to see whether there is any fraud involved. So if you don't want to give immigration that chance to look through your marriage again, then you just wait for 5 years. And the 5 years filing is based on the fact that you have been a permanent resident of the US for 5 years and not based on your marriage. So in that case, there is no reason for them to look through your marriage. But any application before 5 years based on the marriage means you have given them a chance to look into your marriage again. So that is my advice to you. Now, I said that some people have already been ordered deported and they are still here. What do? You have to prepare. A lot of people from Mexico, when they know that they are here illegally, they have children in school, they make arrangements for their children. If anything happens, I want you to take custody of my children. So as I said, if you were ordered deported and you are still here, you never know when immigration will get hold of you. So make sure that you have arrangements as to what happens with your bank accounts, with your properties here. Get a good friend or a relative or somebody who, in that case, will take care of your properties and maybe bring them to you in Ghana, or withdraw your money and bring them to you in Ghana. Because if they take you and you have a deportation order, they're not going to bring you back home to come and arrange your affairs. So you have to have a means of letting someone help you get your properties out. Okay. Also, if you know that you came with a visa you overstayed, or you don't have your papers, you should avoid traveling to border areas. In places like Texas, Arizona, maybe North Carolina, immigration sometimes will stop the train or the bus and search through them for people who are here illegally. I know people who travel to Buffalo and they were stopped, and those who didn't have the papers were put in deportation. They were served with an order to show cause. So if you know you don't have your papers, you are not in status, you overstayed, don't travel to any border area because that is a chance for them to detain you. Okay. Also, have a lawyer on speed dial. Have a lawyer that you can contact if you are in immigration distress. Either you have been detained or something has happened as far as immigration is concerned, and you need someone to fight for your rights. You should have a lawyer that you can call. Okay. Now, you also have to be careful in certain things. For example, let's say you drink and drive, and the police arrest you and take you to, let's say, Rikers Island in New York. Immigration has an agreement with some states that before you release anybody, you have to give us 3 days notice. It is called immigration detainer. So what happens is immigration receives notice that they are going to release so and so in 3 days. By the time they release you, they'll be there waiting for you. And from there, they take you into detention. So please be careful. Make sure you abide by the law. Don't get into the hands of the police because from the police, you may end up in detention. I know New York has laws for police not to cooperate with federal agents, but Trump is threatening to punish those states by not giving them aid. So who knows? They might change and follow Trump. So let's be very careful. Don't put yourself in any criminal matter or don't commit any offense which you see you detained and then giving up to immigration. The last thing I want to talk about, because I know there's going to be a lot of questions, is that a green card is not foolproof in terms of you staying here forever. Your green card can be taken away from you under certain circumstances. One is if you have a green card, you are deemed a permanent resident of the US. So you cannot have your green card and travel and go and stay in Ghana for 2-3 years and come back and still have your green card. Immigration might allow you to come in, but they might also put you in deportation, which means you have to go to immigration court and fight for your green card and explain why you spend so long abroad. There's a procedure if you want to stay abroad for long. There's a procedure, you complete some forms, and that allows them to extend your stay. You are allowed to travel maybe less than 6 months or a little over 6 months, up to a year. But if you stay long, you can lose your green card. Also, if you have any criminal record, that can also lead you to you being ordered deported. I know a lot of Ghanaians are self-comported; they don't indulge themselves in stuff. But immigration takes even minor domestic violence, or let's say you beat your child abuse. All those are called aggravated felonies for whatever reason, and those can lead to you being served an order to show cause for deportation. So even though you have your green card, be careful. Don't engage in domestic violence. Don't engage in child abuse by beating your child. Don't drink and drive or do things which may result in a criminal conduct and which may see your green card being taken away from you. Now, if you have a criminal case, you should get a criminal lawyer to defend you. Usually, they'll give you a public defender, but make sure you get your own lawyer. Why do I say that? If the lawyer is a good lawyer, the lawyer will talk to an immigration lawyer, say, okay, I have this criminal case. You are an immigration lawyer. What should I do? The immigration lawyer will tell the lawyer what type of plea bargain to take for you so that you can still keep your card. or what type of plea bargain to take for you so that you can be able to apply for citizenship. But if you have a public defender who has 100 and 200 cases, who doesn't know anything about immigration law, they might let you take a plea to something which would then affect your green card, which would then affect your ability to become a citizen. So I'm not saying that, you have this at the back of our mind that we're going to be committing any crime. But if you do happen to see yourself in any situation like that, try and get your own lawyer who would then consult with an immigration lawyer to get the best deal for you so that you can continue to keep your green card. Thank you.
Law tutorials. The Kakamia program Yanuko, Kamia Katami Vazu, experts in immigration law. Yo, like Palumanyaba questions get only Manyaba Mama, Paleko Nukuma. I have so many questions. Yen Yantam have a doha or la kaji. Akamabiano, let me have you. I want to be granny before women or after a child abuse when ya Mala Bergadonia Vanga recording. Mama mother could me take a short break, then me have you there questions. Hello, like a
okay, that is fine.
Okay. All right, you can be to try about people like please don't touch that. You are listening to Lawyer AKPALU, a very successful immigration lawyer here in the East Coast, and we've had the opportunity to be speaking with him. We take a quick break and we'll be right back. Please don't touch that now.
Welcome to Ceana TV. You are watching from Ceana Central, hosted by Steve and Empress Mawushi. Ceana, helping build Everland.
Are you ready to start a rewarding career in healthcare? Become a certified home health aide in the state of New Jersey with our 2-week training program. Enroll today to begin your journey. It is simple. Email us at pccshhtrainingschool@gmail.com or newmanpccsinfo@gmail.com to reserve your spot in our New Jersey Board of Nursing approved training course. Receive expert training. Our hands-on comprehensive home health aid program offers more than just knowledge. It provides real-world experience. Learn directly from seasoned professionals who will guide you every step of the way. Transform your future with skills that truly makes a difference. Begin your career with expert guidance and hands-on practice. You will be certified and ready to launch a successful career as a home health aide. Don't wait. Start your healthcare journey with us today. Contact us to enroll. Call us at 862-755-8464 or 848-218-1555 or 773-960-5416 or send an email to pccshhtrainingschool@gmail.com or newmanpccsinfo@gmail.com. What are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity to transform your future with skills that truly makes a difference.
Not to kick at me, having you make a pommy pop.
Oh, Finemia guy, FPF for me, Lelo, Rovania Villa Jojo. Jajadona, Ceana 2025. Ya for Mille, le rehearsal so there, le Jajado, Mille, may I feed for Mille.
Oh, Nyatefia. You must be registered at Dallas 2025. Because that's the only way my tongue get access to their hotel. I can't really worry. No, Zoom register this year. He never job. He might not add the convention or would they refund my money to me?
What for gas for now? Never and Ghana registration
Kenya, I've another two moda Matemba convention the Canaswa. We are cool, even a when you were na your convention organizers who then I know my other what to put that for now. 11 and yo, I see August 2nd, week 2025. Now do I don't hope we got Kata. Nyatepa.
Nyatepe nyakwe mi onu. Bekwe fefu be di fefete mi yakwe mi date ekwe here August 13, 2025. No nya yoko wa cancel hotel reservations akwa agana.
You know what? When it's too early to register for the convention now, the convention is update in August 2025. Our phone, a little registration. Ekpana Ceana, Movena, Wododunia, as announced, Ohana, Apo, Hotel Benny, and oh, I've been out there for you. We need to my register. Mawe, Kaba, Mayan, Ozingi, Gomita, Apato, Guipe, Kolobadi, but no register, Namia Fansa, every
Efo, eho go bankolo, yami, yame when yom ya be kumeto when ya register mi avadala. Azalo.
Welcome to Ceana TV. You are watching from Ceana Central, hosted by Ofo Steve and Empress Mawushi. Ceana, helping build Everland.
Yo, lawyer Marco Akpa, Makbaba Biagado, Kaji, Makbaba, Mama said to Jide, Biabiara Shia Fimiakla, Biakala Kaji. Mama Marco Biabiara Shia Fimia, the comment section. Okay. Yo, Kamia Jagon Bakla for Chadi, Bia about will. Aba and Yama don't hold a lawyer.
I don't know who.
Okay. Kamia either Alonyobo. Okay. Alonyoba, you talked about customary type of marriages. They in short, are they easy to recognize for immigration purposes?
Well, customary marriage in Ghana is recognized for immigration purposes in the U.S. The restaurant and the customary law in Ghana, you just go and register it at the marriage registry call. That certificate is good for immigration purposes, but you cannot file for 2 wives. Because if you look at the Form I-485, which is a petition application for permanent residence, there's a box which says, are you coming here to practice polygamy? If you check yes, they won't give you the green card. So if you have 2 wives in Ghana or 3 wives, you can only bring 1 here. You can't bring all of them.
Yo, okay. Yo, Marco, I'm at a testing question that you know, the card of yeah. Yeah, I have a multiple visa, PPP. Gaka yo go get ma about 6 months ma only. Ye over if I'm not fear for about over plus one kata valo they are married over plus one kata eva. Ye wama bakata over no fear for less than the 6 months. You try gaka unfortunately you very do a Ghana majiju within a month or so you boyo but no oga bova any look at the Ghana American embassy. You over glonoba you valid over what doha over out you over ye oh visa back global view if you am a ton she oh visa pepe back let the view ga come pro the view ye wa back we back bambo you be over you bad over what do over out you back at the view the figure glad the view over your glad the view the you over mother bo you bo ni enya go blah nyamanya all the okay in short over revoke a visa ko nowadays. Is that another Jonah? They have you handled a case like that? What is the way forward in this case? Mr. Semba, it was a yellow flag or whatever it is. Okay, the long and short, they have revoked a visa.
Okay, Mazon now frequently. So it's possible, but Marava a report because computer rakamali kokpoma ba wodo. That my suspect ba Marava a you immigration a report to Baba wodo afia. And Abalama Glena now have a multiple visa. Yeah, now abuse the condition of your visa. That visa can be cancelled. That never no fear even 3-4 months in a wood which you are not allowed to do. If they know about you work there, then the visa can be cancelled, and then you have to apply for a new visa if you want to come back. So it's quite possible, Mara, a very report because there's no other way for immigration to know about though.
In this case, there is there an is there an inhibition, but they cannot come here within a certain time. But do they have, what are their chances but they can have the cancellation removed or revoked or rescinded? Yeah.
Oh, okay, well the visa has been cancelled, so they cannot have it revoked. They have to apply for a new visa.
Okay.
That
Okay.
have to apply for a new visa, and they may place conditions on the new visa.
Okay. Mara kuku manya mama bia bade. Mi ato mi nya ba Ceana ya mi na every year va wana conventional ba mia mia joga mia ko otutu oboduko a mi nya ba mi na state to state. State adonya red state. Aba Chicago is a safe haven for me yoka banama lobushio. Fifia ye mianu nola ye agbona va ejiaji nogafia. Ena nya valiado kavana Ceana claim every year over gbanlo mado. Ye fifia na abami na da tepada aba Texas na advice bo yi claim ya lo no magbako because if you ogbogbo ba awoba na miapa amagaya va eje ejianu no oba Ceana no yinada state adoa yomotenga yigo madakuku advice ke na have na mama.
Okay, Ceana yide manya yamu ko gana layi ta ni makarajiba internal flights or airport no ga no pa gbala check mo not to abroad border aro na to Mexico alabasma yena no vovombo check aka na yaba na fly to Texas ha manya problem crowd.
Na state ado liao wana mobile stop and frisk ko loko yo ni ohin stop and na ma wona na va yi state ma de maybe na bo no mo clutch kamala shinyo ma kudu ma yi Walgreens ma yi ko ma aba flow no mo clutch ko you go stop and frisk de yo kwa ba ma la shinyo de leke ojojo gefia.
Nyama kajiba I got to that extent to ta nyama jiba no vovom too much.
Okay.
Vovo mali that much because I feel about your morum rapa gabu blangola. As about or high new a daily cramanya now you go akora but I will not nyama me no vovom too much there bo na ira storm oil like a petoto anu gara obey or gamata ogo.
Okay.
Next time over to border walla. How you tomorrow 100,000 because a gamalio. Ever by a more deport few on $1 Florida, California, Moyocata from Balamolo show. Next start by a momorum rapa, if I support a son to Bagaba, I was stop it. Because I'm over the America, Torakaman, away for family Ghana, I know. Cockroach, I the pig process more. Orange juice farmer Mexico to so and she agbam process him. Then every now America to recommend libe out like business owner. Dan anya gararo cook blossom what you don't know mona a tomagato no vote ne. Gaka avo na jibe aromara oda ha azaba amana ha passport na ma passport ma leje na to country na issue passport afina telu da oda ya mo kwi na daga akoru ro dare na rewo chata garo lekena oge garali amata ogo nya konya glomola
Okay.
anyu
Okay.
mianu vovom too much na ma
Ta Nova Ceana agbe.
Nova Ceana
Na gugu na no ready lo in case overlow and my yoba we Nova lo.
la bus malatesa asire especially bus coming from border area you are stop a bus I only kana allow private car. I don't know. I'm over to the airport. I don't see any problem by immigration to have at all.
Madakuku in there over real ID babaga. Oba mi aje real ID zaza. Ye real idea. Manya ye mi koga kono ya movudo meo.
A real ID matter is a more secure ID than driver's license.
Okay.
That real ID, yeah. Opabana or real ID, then they have checked your background. They know that you are not a terrorist. You can never hijack a plane now. So that is just the essence of the real ID.
Okay.
I can still for some time all allow monazo regular driver's license.
Okay. Ana balama show atia real ID ha.
I don't know the requirements. Since that will make it easy for people who don't have papers to get a real ID.
Okay.
Since I don't have, they may ask for some green card or citizenship information. So it depends on the state.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Marco for Steve na ba ya bi enya dafia.
Do mapia ba ani la minya ba the New York area. Yeah, gleba you've been called into the New York body. Miapa ani miapa nukola lo miapa nyasala lo Ceana duko mi kakatade tapasha tapadi. Na amada la Chicago, alo amada la Ohio, alo amada la Arizona. Ye will hear advice there alo legal assistance de mi atwa yo ye atwa kwede mi anwa.
Yes, your immigration rates, federal law. It doesn't matter where you are. Take cases from all the states.
Okay.
Clients in California, clients in Texas, Arizona. It doesn't matter where you are.
Okay.
Yo. Ka anyada ka hanye ba ni tarado ya mi anto mi na gbagba jamba mi akpo mi aba agbala ogbo alo mi ayo ehonlo ade ba na kwede mi anwa ye nye ani legal fees so ye no boboje do na magade de marku atwa anami assurance ma gbagba ba assurance na atwa anami at least any other some comfortability ba now your esteem bakle mama said you bonko kwa ke akpo now
I have a Ceana discount. So that's
yeah. Ceana discount if you have to pay Azu mama said you and Steve special discount.
But we have to generate a code, a secret code that know your only code that konyaba yokbo micho Ceana Central G. Ka offer Steve yonya agbami jagoma late de demi program akoga yijia.
Marco Mafono na miaba a producer bakla miaba other shows okay needs to come on do na nyo bobo yo jebo a follow me gaka aba egba ye election coverage wo eta mi atwa GV eta but mi aka to by a few minutes at least about another 15 minutes or so na mi akoko egba mi late for about a whole 30 minutes afi eta mi atwa by Akamia de Kukuba a question so no value magliba mi atwa yo 773-960-5416 773-960-5416 na mate questions or text got a comment sections text questions onto the comment section yema ani la AKPALU he's here on Ceana discount baka egba one free hey I mean a discount you free boto yeah advice is onami It America me send you all your comments. You have a number lafuma. Let me your number. At one nami Ceana discount alo akono nami 30. Kamaya to be between you and him. Kaka egba la afia by courtesy of Mama Seduju special. Bakla nyado kumala ashi nyado kumala ashini. Mama Seduju yelango enyamala magbeni. We are giving you free legal and advice for free. It America type into your comments or call. We will take a quick break. The name na questions or let me ashide name ya bia alo name ya questions or let me ashide name ya bia lawyer.
Let me get over there. Na lawyer AKPALU will akunu nami about workers' compensation plus social security benefits plus kata. He's very vested in it study. Nyasala klo nupola miga touch dial miga touch mi ako mo ko ngwa miga troga vakbi anya apon anana maga ponya bare lawyer AKPALU mo ko na nu fun ga kagba mi na go ko nwa fi oju baba mi akpo get vie.
Yo, miawizo. Marco, abale ke minye na ni miapa Ceana media jia manya Ceana Central kuyu miagbagba je mi kona wana gado upana nami. Ye mi jena goma cho feedagbe. Cho feedagbe Marco fu Lawrence daga du alo for Lawrence mawenyega kona miapa African jazz and traditional music. Akokovecho ganyi kukakava ga shake every Friday just to get you started on your weekend. Yeta America make a date with Apple Lawrence Mawinyega every Friday. Ka membe nagbe indi kanye miada Miss Dell bakle Davi Sarah yenye miaba motivational speaker call Health and Wellness Hub egba oponu gada o interview Dr. Tina yoponu show depression. Yeta make a date Friday every Saturday morning by 10:30 a.m. Kwaka o wana mako gabenami. Kaka we actually jiko ka Marku Mama Asaduchi ba hoshi enya ha ma hwashipi. Ya ye hona shi enya ma hona ye hona ashipi de ha. Ye mi akọ mi apa Ceana Central kokove. Abagba na mi lawyer AKPALU V. Yeta make a date with this. Kaka mi achoko ka dunenyo bobobo yenye miada authentic mama. E kona wana benami all the way from Ghana, top radio. Ni ha chola jiaji kwa ka mi akpoba wale bia mi popomba mi ababa aha mi agbagba jem lang ita ka ni yenye class ya mi no de mi va mi a strong work dana mi Dr. Wonyo Mama Vero bakla Eposaros iha wajak bakbak plamado chicha ganga gado cho gana waba no piamita make a date with us. Ka mem koshiragba miada Nico iha ako Afrique culture yalo Afrique culture with laba abanami yemami hama adananglecho miapa cultural issues yeah, make a date ni miabasa kono bakla traditions and bakla miapa culture nyao ya plana madobi wabade nyama nami afo Patrick ajaduba aglo mi bepadem yeta oba lechiama yapa wana goma jege over the 28th ema he'll be starting his program Ceana World View. Nyanta minyaba we are in the Christmas season. Yet our Christmas party is all Jesus. On the 13th at Houston Toba, you will a Christmas party. Yet I Houston area manoga o miakbem bemiabaka. On the 14th, nanuke kwaka mi gada a New Jersey nyanta matama noga manoga bobio ye miawo. New Jersey Bakle FA Alliance will join together our Christmas party. But Macbeth, there is another Washington Washington is on the 21st, right? Okay. but there's another one on the 14th of Atlanta. Atlanta we're also having theirs on the 14th. Atlanta is having over inauguration there over Togbi Bakla Mama inauguration, Christmas party. After the following week, which is the 21st. 21st Chicago. Tonha on Ginoga Mama said it man no Bobby Aleko Blaga I the Bama dan could a caraf mama no Mama said it Chicago etaka Chicago Tonha miaha mi kama mi waga mi ama shama bam afi ani amagado Washington DC, Washington DC, in do over 40th anniversary by Christmas party. In with the inauguration of over new leadership. And Miada the year Vazu President Fifia Onya da Akpeni is the new president elect. Yeta would the go on the 21st. 21st ma. Manyaba Greater Boston, but you have 10 years, over 10 years anniversary do. Share your blender, you are the vehicle, you and your Bastian and Namako, Magaho, Amishimaka, one and every play you and Mono Moha over you over 10 years do. It America Mifa, Namia Tonga, Greater Boston. Do over a 10th anniversary on the 21st. United Voter, Afiaka lawyer AKPALU association over anniversary over end of year do you are fundraising then you are it is a fundraising dinner on the 21st. Nama local cameo domanoke ye waga there over ni mama Mausinu, Bakla, a Togbi Setrana had a go. It I want all let to me, Migang Lobolo, Marcumi register where. Then me register the co American Yaka, but Banamia register. Yenye me have upcoming Ceana, Le Dallas 2025. I'm a shaman Jack Babano, I register Kabakaba, now Watwaji, a hotel. Nami. Yo, Kemia Aiji, Akba, one all let to me. Yeah, Avaleka in Choma, me by you all the way to Birmingham, like UK, and brought you a live coverage. Ceana miak bagbaja. Eta na a wana more waga na a naminya. Miatwan jack bagba akboba aleke miatwa akaba nami live. Doko mia ayaja. But I mean yomi kudi. We'll try and see. Made the share the meter waga. Kaka heishin miatwa wa mia ajak bagba na mia awilo. Camera we take another quick break. Let me throw you the one or two akpa nami. Yo, mama, ka akpa mika trova. Yo, kemi adakpa na me shamalo. Marku, any comments or pomolo. Marku, me send the comments in. Let me appear. Mama, Marku, bamiapo nucho, social security bakle workers camp. Marku, atuado biabiado da na lawyer palo na dong na mia.
Akpa lawyer palo madakuku mabia lo kona nufia mo popo mo kona nu too much. Anyway, that was just by the way. My dialogue sometimes I me do maybe me a didi me anga for. Kaka Antonia ba mia ethnic to ya mi bovomba na mava glonya de fia. Maybe one yam la doma. Alo na mava ba ma wo ma global no compensating for. Afo ya manga fia maybe anya only enyaga doma we sometimes are scared of retaliation. Tamabialo workers compensation at the mafiami me about to qua.
Okay, workers compensation there. Manya lawsuit on your band as Suamarako. Amo Bunabana ba never file for workers' compensation call. Kafiaba su domema. Tamanya lawsuit on your alena a hukum Maroko who allo who Miamavamia exchange insurance information insurance company and now are just a new claim a yakwe is just like a filing a claim. New York, for example, every business is supposed to have workers' comp insurance. Tanayaba or have workers' comp insurance and never le hobby le doma. Once on yaba hobby ko so information and now insurance code, then they just leave it for the insurance to take care of. Just a claim process. When you maraka sum nalo. And not only because Abamia or Nebamia hobby le doma. In fact, your practice a lot of it, over 60% is workers' compensation. Never le hobby le doma. Yareolia mababa second marco ina nyumloga unaka afina basa babata azabana hobina na makona yo ambulance ayi the hospital nuka tena yo ambulance na ambulance abare e gbogbo okay ya ba call so fie ira fie ni wa mehi because sometimes so employers so deny na ba ama manya fimo hobia la fi bubu hobia jibe claim as workers camp. Can ambulance have you call or report log out at the hospital? We have ambulance call report. That was the confront employer about okay, now Mama Hobby Doma, like if the ambulance about quit Doma in the hospital call. It's an easily winnable case. The second requirement here by the Hobby Doma as an supervisor. Arama Gala Doma because as a boy investigate Nala.
Okay.
Requirement in New York, but not hobby as a supervisor. Agbena Magana. Alabama Bagbena or later about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, near Lawaya. How are they going to believe you? You have them. And Nayaba the hobby and Agbena Domato or workers' comp insurance to your Gagbenoga. That is not the same as filing a claim. Now, I file a claim, there's a workers' compensation board. The state Rashara, that's when I file a claim with that board. And usually I would not have a file a claim or if you ever lose a chance matter as a lawyer right away, no lawyer not file a claim. The second aspect, however, not so emergency room private doctor state Rashara or licensed doctor Saroba not treat injured workers. No doctor, your primary doctor, you can more license but not treat injured workers. So, in a bag, hobby, doma, you continue treating you are more bona for Hagani or Bravo Mofakani because Mala license board treater make a hobby, domo. That's about the doctor, you can license as a workers' compensation doctor. The Hamaha Naba a lawyer, but the lawyer will refer you to a workers' compensation doctor. The other reason, Keta Naira compensation doctor, Goyaba, never the hobby la doma in la fama, a fortune hagolano, by hobbya, Manyaba because the hobby for Tumaham now. Or for Tumaham no because doctor to report a yiba at Biatama Tandogo. Tana la fama, a reporter recommends Bovaba, but Tandogo because of Abiana. Oh, Gaba Mogaraka Koganao, Avo. In la fama will build so or lava no like organala. As about now make sure by a doctor, but I don't treat with a doctor because hear report frequently. Out of Yaba still a Olama call a Rolama Sari then I at all. Andura Kahamia watch for Yaba. Then Yaba now apply for workers' compensation. I will apply the unemployment too. Alabama apply unemployment can destroy a workers' comp case and Lukezo. Workers' comp Agboglomba my hobby domata you metama or doliga can you metama because my hobby. Unemployment I never Yalama Sam my town dosha doraka dokomalashi. So that is the opposite of workers' comp. Workers' comp are hobby a doliga can matana. Unemployment Olama Sam I tell doraka domalio.
Okay.
Tana ba apply a workers' compensation or Hamako challenge. I'm sorry. Never apply unemployment if you're by a palamas or son, come on, most also challenge your workers' comp case.
Okay.
But if you often have been on employment or by a palamas or some, your town if you never workers' comp by a matter of and then the other one, disability. Disability is opposite of workers' comp. Never the hobby doma. I don't know then you a full of Iki or no tamare was a man no every job in New York and most states will have disability insurance. Kaka disability insurance ma for Hanana more is about $170 a week, which is small.
Mm.
Tanayaba the hobby is better for you to apply for workers' comp than apply for disability.
Okay.
And now apply disability be agaba disability I claim a domain hobby lalo aro family aro fike na ba domain ko mo disability na go agba hin about apply for workers' comp. And the last thing I want to mention is about attend her workers' camp. I got her social security disability at the same time. I tell her guy from workers' camp, I got her guy from social security disability. The only new never or have a maximum. That now let her feel where fear. Never subo maximum or they will let you keep both of them. And I can give an example. Mr. Oba, you can get only up to $800. That's combining workers' camp and social security. The number workers camp $400 come no. A disability have 400 come no. Kafiaba you are getting 800.
Mm-hmm.
The number workers camp I increase the payment to 600. Disability total jirega to 200 so that the two of them will still be 800. Gakanaba greater disability toba your workers camp home. Yeah, overpay 200 a week for how long it is 2 years, 3 years. Oh, but let Rogaroba, you owe them $10,000, $12,000, $20,000. That Kwamaro, all our workers camp, you got disability, hormonal disability officer, Jaba, your workers camp homo. Payment or however I see the upper limit. Tawaro let Aroba, Idaba, Biagagara Korogaro for 6 months or whatever, Arobiano, Ramajino, Vasilikanaka, Fawunu. Ta workers camp, I am a Masira Fima. The main other thing came out touching social security disability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In fact, long ago, before President Roosevelt, now more old who owe the pension call. He covered on a homeless, man on a destitute. Maro here, they breached the donor, Maro homeless shelters. Yeah, Roosevelt, but no. Your system aroga ikena domine ono gararama oganchino rambrolo. So it's like compulsory savings. Along ogaragazarano. Tanaba achieve ikenaba retire. Ono gama come no vivi so that the old system where people became poor and homeless. Now your reverse system. Now establish a social security. Now, social security, we have 3 types. We have SSD. SSD, near Social Security Disability, which means Idaba below Aro have conditional AK Matanga Dogo. Have a Maro age you can retire. The Hama, you apply for disability and no approval, then you'll be getting some money every month. The second one, yeah, SSI. SSI is like welfare. It's called Supplemental Security Income. The SSI, if a gamma the SSD no gaka, it's also to help people who cannot work or who are blind or who are over 65 years old. Now, if you're over 65 years old or you are blind or you are disabled, you can apply for SSI. Now, make it apply now for SSD and make it apply now for SSI. Social security is a form of insurance. The after that time of social security disability as about now do you have for at least 10 years or more. Tanayaba Mawodo up to 10 years or more, come and qualify again for Social Security disability. That in that situation, I can't apply the SSI. SSI I say like when you na SSI homa na gara la show, a property la show, come on kogana because it's like welfare. Tanayaba na nyabara kai a gara show la bank more than $2,000. You don't qualify for SSI. The year open from you have $4,000 or more. You have a qualify for SSI. The year property la show, a full la show, a full la show. You have jewelry, anything that you can convert into cash. Yeah, you don't qualify for SSI. That's about now before you qualify for SSI. For SSI, Matel Hoga Koabe and Ghana. You have to be resident in the US to collect that money. You more than 30 days for stop payments until you come back. And you are never amagara kwano jilove. You pro jilove or jilaba or do yeah, Motanoga or do. Have a more than 10 years Harry novel you ever apply for SSD disability. That the only thing I apply na SSI. Ever SSI better than no fear no ga come no zomo. You never la Ghana you ga come now. That if you ga come on no fear ga man the demo. Na never la Ghana you ga man come no at manage ga kana zo the Ghana ha oh gas stop gas. So what then do you do? Problem la SSI we ma ga kana SSD kena wo 10 years or more afia hohoma. Atebano the Garepa account mafialo aro attain Ghana every month for the American embassy. Because it's something that we are entitled to because I would do for more than 10 years. Now the third social security retirement. The retirement two things. You have something called full retirement age and early retirement age. Now for 62 years you can retire. Gakada retire at 62 or social security kena ho 65 or more corner or a jiraga na ho only 70% of that. You not get your full social security. That for every year kena delay or retirement until full retirement age, you get a little more in social security. Yeah, what is full retirement age? Over with by 1957 or earlier. Your full retirement age is 67. 67 years in your full retirement age. Kakadanya Bojo from 19 okay, first one is 1943 to 54 is 66 years old. Then you can retire at full retirement. Nanyaba 57 or earlier is also 66. That increase now would if you are 1960 or later, then your full retirement age is 67. Now, what happens in Yaba at full retirement age, you get your max social security benefit, but you can start early at 62, but you are going to get only a percentage of what you get. The whole thing is they want people to delay retirement as much as possible. Because you start a social security, or start a guy kata hogola or director for a car. You can call for him na amayo retire. Gaka o gamanzam kolubu buometa gamalio. Tanama gara retire. Mayo don fia ga homolo shia you call for him na mayo retire. Taneba mo retire su bokmako. Ka gaman yaka fana momokata tayo ba okay. Delay or retirement because that delay me a guy gbogbo ara kogano hoping by na akuga fiaro that age whether you take the retirement early or later That depends on your health. That depends on whatever planning you do with your accountant or personal financial planner. But just know about for most of us at the full retirement age is no longer 65. You have to work till you are 67, and they're even planning to raise it to 70 because they want people to delay their retirement as much as possible because there's no money to pay. So those are the things. And then also nanyaba nayaba you retire on social security and you are still working, your social security can be taken away from you depending on how much you are making. That if you retire early and your social security and you're working, any $2 you make above a certain amount, about 25,000, and they take $1 of your social security. That Ghana, we force people to retire at 60 so other people can get jobs. The way they do it here is that you can retire and work, but if you work too much,
They'll take it.
Either all or part of your social security. Also, you pay tax on your social security plus income. That social security added to your income is taxable if you work too much. But if you don't work too, you cannot pay your bills here. If you start to live in America, you cannot pay your bills, so you have to work. So it's a catch 22 situation. I have many Ghanaians who are retired, 67, 70, and they are still working because their social security is not enough for them to live on.
To live on, right?
And they are working. They are still paying taxes and all that, just like they were doing before, because they have to make enough money to pay their bills. And once you make enough money, then the IRS also comes to get their share. Yeah. So just know that you can retire early, but if you retire, you are still working. Not only will you lose part of your social security income, you will also have to pay taxes on the money that you are earning. Thank you.
See you.
Yes, nyasala planu kpolao. Abale mi na this is a lot of information na mia digest. Nungmata lawyer AKPALU ipo do onya anya losi okata kodadie. Anya okata oglofiade. Ana vovondom. Ekpe angoli ma dada nwipa afi na be ajode jinya ta. Lawyer AKPALU phone number ma le screen aji. She can 917-566-0288. But the koku mia jagbagbade ne mia yue na no ponya umakata nami. Shuaji amate no the share the blogger na mia fiao. Ta na mia ko de na mia yue na mia to nya uma. Madakuku lawyer AKPALU mabama biabade. Workers' compensation shouldn't you have already signed up for workers' comp? Afi natianpo benefits ma. Hello is a state onunya. Because sometimes when you are signing up for insurance, makmanabo bianaba ejiba sign up for workers' comp. Garuma migbanaba aw. Now, number sign up for workers' comp, they still attach file with your state for workers' compensation.
I tell for workers' compensation, many individual insurance when you want to apply for workers' comp. At the doctors apply for workers' compensation to cover all the workers.
Oh, okay.
The hospital and the hospital have workers' compensation for all workers there. The many own toy insurance man plug apply for it individually. So it's for the employer to buy it for all the workers in the business.
Okay. Marco Madagulo, Afi Yakla line at Lillian to Marco call out about my biaba mia de todo la fia abna oida a retirement. Gaka wa fa yin be you are very desron. Na you are club fia onye a full citizens. You over what dog kaka you over a retirement. Gaka amamobe you have the akplovia awanami ba ani strong low shide Marco adown kaili nena koko adona amama oba ye afokaye watwande ele nyamangu
Maya rago in a Ghana strolama shi ho Ghana. Kama tama mara gore ama strola shele kene Ghana rage.
Ma bluchi baba strong the day man.
Well, in those situations, Rode,
Marco.
na ma strola shi amata mara go and
Yeah.
mala easy haba na beda mara kwa hogbalo. Fifia they scrutinize a lot of things.
Okay.
Odona mo cry na la pama. You know, na the interview okay, you keep on follow and then all the mother pama. I know what some investigation that's a problem. You might advise about
Okay.
no matter when you man now over you trying my father fire. I can never alak then I don't get into it.
Okay. Yo, Marco, mama said nami nyaba a platform can you qualify for SSI if you are a permanent resident but have never worked in the USA?
To qualify for SSI or SSD or retirement, you have to be a citizen or a permanent resident. That never a permanent resident, I can satisfy that condition, but you are over 65, or you are blind, or you are disabled. Yes, you can qualify for SSI.
Yo, akpa Marco kamaga bialo ani minyaba na a social security home nyamanya what type of nyakwe have about retirement. Yeah, social security home. Yeah, magabaliwa. A strong alo a view kama ho 18 years old day. What one on a gamma homa? Yeah, na a strong American question is in two parts. Bana and ya make a social security home about the ama. You are a citizen. Yeah, you have worked over 10 years. I've now a magavalue a trauma. Yeah, and a social security home afi trauma bedi. A gamana magavalue de over spouse they continue to enjoy that social security until one time or reach over retirement age. Allow a view who is less than 18 years. They at one or enjoy ma. Yeah, your second part of the question, but na wo widow ma lo widow ama bad desron they can what happens to the social security okay but in this case I to be the ex-deceased husband you want to enjoy the what happens.
Okay, technically social security is meant to pay you until your death.
Okay.
So once you die, you are no longer entitled to social security. Social security is supposed to pay you from the day to retire until your death. Near another survivor's benefits.
Okay.
We have a spouse or a disabled child. I can condition so long. So yes, they can give some money to your surviving spouse and to your minor children after you are deceased. It may not be the same amount that you were collecting.
Okay.
Because you are not supposed to collect social security after you die because it's supposed to end on your death. But for the fact that you have survivors left who may be dependent on you, they can get survivors benefits. And sometimes the condition is that if the woman remarries her, then the woman can lose that benefit.
Okay.
And also, if the woman also is retired and receiving her own benefit,
yeah,
then they'll compare what she is getting on her own benefit to what you were getting. And then if hers is higher, then that's what she takes and she no longer gets your benefits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo akpa manyaba mi globa miaba wana is up to 1 o'clock. Yeah, 1:30 a potong. Yeta awana maba mama sediji miako egbaton ha serafia.
Ako serafia enya oli fun enya oli fun mi ten kata moto gagba talaba lawyer palu mi agaji another time day na naga vaga kana va hama by that time akpama ko tananu kum hanya Mara kuko srola shiwa nyama bia onyama harako. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No. Yonya srola shiwa ko me dak bana mawu.
Yeah. So every year, me ever Ceana together.
Nyama, it's funny lo. Ano mado Ceana, I'm so busy. Nyanku jikata wana hanya makmona marako. Aka mona ma.
Cho maka magpanaw. Yung kumo na pagpamo de we out pa na ichay. And not can clam la ta fesha ta fede.
Magpena ma. Akpa. So AKPALU marakuku atiana mi o closing remarks afi na jo mojia.
Madakwana Ceana for bringing this program. Miapa community are Makwoba Yamayana Mpaparo Shishira. Let me have a problem. Bring Miataro or Paramiano, Hamra Magba. Avo Duyama. The two important people are doctors and lawyers, unfortunately, because doctor, when you are sick, they take care of you. Lawyer, you get a problem, you talk to your lawyer first, and then before you talk to anybody. Tanayaba, me domatora have legal issue. Ye marato, miada ike hanya lawyer. Mama will show more concern for us than make a have anything to do with us. So that anytime he came and take a case, I try to do my very best so that the person would appreciate it and tell other people, but let me have a problem call. We should be able to seek help. Mother Akpana, Mama Sarujipla, Mr. Steve Day for putting this program together. I hope more opportunities will come for us to interact. And I also encourage our people, but Ceana Bonadalas are more also of all boy more you go. Trump doba threatening most of the things obey or go because you need money, you need personnel to do all that. And the US it doesn't have that much money. Right now, China is holding so many $800 billion of US debt. That Gamale Remiano million so deport me. Tamashamana Aonire, Mashamana Rajirire, Nemia Ceana, La Dallas, Akba.
Yo ka amia dak pa manya glore na lawyer AKPALU ye ma wo glo ye ba number ma la jam ani aji ye ma glo ba more opportunities they are troba mi dak pa na ma shama ba mi ba kwa mi an wo tra ha mi wo na ma la shoba and the shade ka ji yim la Ghana ha yim ni yeta we wish everybody well and we wish but the right results would be announced so soon yeta afia mi asa agba todo ye mi aga aklami. But Mama Shaman, they take care of itself and of yourself and of each other. And next week, in Amia Jagba, either a Christmas party, so that we'll bring you some of the Christmas party and Christmas party sado. Marco, take care of yourself. Magblem me there, Mama Asadiji ba Ashima. Akpena Milo, Marco Koyanya for Steve McClammy.
Nyasala kula nukpala miato menya ina abwa vivima za dodom na kopato agbahamiko wana ya kosera afiyai mada kuku lawyer AKPALU bade mi gavon na mi contemplate him about something alo nana afudam namia mi yo yele number maji 917-566-0288 mi yue mi abie nya de shiade as a matter of fact anyama bie go ba ohona consultation fee Kakagba miekpe enami consultation free of charge. This is how much Ceana cares about me avowing. Ale o yimfia miato minyala ba mai magaba mno nyina magapudu ayi doma zayama. Ta mia komi aseda fiai. Next same time next week de miaga dogu. Ta maona no include me. Bye bye.
I really love to stay with you. I really have to go back home. Whoa, the beat scientist. me sois, tu me sois, tu me sois, tu me sois, me qui bena.